Barista competition. So I think we keep the we keep the development in the company a bit better when it's a competition like this, and for a longer time, I guess. And we can take more advantage of a competition like this in order to improve our coffee and our product.
Marit, I have a question for you. Because you have Tim Vengo as a roaster, you have won this competition before, right? Am I right?
Yeah.
Not surprised, or have this competition made all other roasteries taste like Tim Vengo? Because apparently that's the key, or right?
I don't think so.
Oh.
I drink a lot of coffee when I'm traveling and also here in Oslo. And I think there is different styles and approaches. So I don't think so. That would be not good. Tim's doing what he believes is good.
Yeah. Yes, the man in the back.
I have a question. What did you guys think about doing Pacamara this year? As far as, okay, I do green sourcing, so did you feel that you had more or less ability to kind of express yourself when choosing the Pacamara than in previous years? If those of you who did in previous years or had the category of, coffee from Western Hemisphere, would it have been different, or what do you think about the Pacamara?
How did that affect the competition? Through them?
Maybe someone else can talk about this, because as I said, we have been roasting quite a lot of Maracatu, so
April?
I mean, we up to this point we'd never worked with a Pacamara before, so, or at least sold one. I think Patrick roasted some previously in other companies. It's not, in terms of a varietal, we didn't expect it to have so many examples that we would find suit our philosophy or what we find valuable in green coffee. But in looking and sourcing and finding smaller lots, micro lots with different people, we did find coffees that did fit us much better. Some higher grown, wash processed, that we actually brought into our normal range. So we now actually retail several different Pacamaras. We experimented with some peaberry Pacamara. So in that sense, it's been a good impetus for us to learn. If that's necessarily reflected in the scores, that's going to be something else. But it's, we can see the diversity in the varietal a lot more now. I can't speak on previous years.
Jack, how was that for you to find the Pacamara and present it? And
when roasting, I don't think that's the moment when I try to put a stamp that reflects the company. So I try to allow the personality of the coffee to come through. I think it's in the selection of the greens is where we try to put our stamp or to show our personality. And then once we have the greens, to do as little as possible with them, to allow them to shine. It was tricky to find Pacamara.
Where did you get it?
In the end, from Hilberto.
Yeah.
I had 3 of his amongst 11 that I was going to choose, and then went down to 5, and then finally to 3, and finally to 2. And I think all 3 of his were still in the final 5.
All right. Any other comments on the Pacamara?
The sourcing thing is an interesting thing because obviously it's Nordic Roaster Forum. We're all within the same 4 countries, 3 in this particular competition. So immediately when you do get Pacamara there, you are looking to find some more diverse channels in terms of sourcing as well, because you can already imagine what a lot of these guys are going to be cupping if they're purchasing from Nordic or 3-2 or one of the others that you might use for production. So it's also interesting in regards to finding different sourcing channels and maybe expanding the network a little bit as well.
One concern that I had when it's sort of an open hand to choose whichever Pacamara you want is that it becomes a budget competition. We're all different sizes, and we have a lot of different budgets for sourcing greens. And so I thought maybe tomorrow at the open board meeting it might be interesting to float the idea of having a limit, an upper limit on how much you can spend when you're choosing your coffees. But that's for tomorrow.
We'll see if it had any result. Any, yeah?
Yeah, I just have another question for April, because you guys had probably the most dramatically different curves
Sure.
of everyone. So I was wondering if that's like a philosophy that you guys, or an approach you guys use across.
Yeah, we do work with it with several
Yeah.
production coffees as well. We've been working with it now for a couple of months. We wouldn't apply it to all coffees. We found, and the reason why in this case we went straight to it knowing we only had a few batches, was the Pacamaras that we'd worked with when we found, for example, like the pea brew with the higher density, it always came out better with this stretched approach. So we were using kind of similar models across there. We also found with higher density pea brew Kenyans and things, we found a lot more flavor intensity in the structure, just worked better for us. I mean, we wouldn't say it's a risk. It was more fun to come out and put something like that. And again, it's interesting then to reflect on the scores. And like you said, it's a 1.5 swing in there, but you've got a considerably different approach in this sense.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to hear feedback in terms of individual cups, and it'll be really interesting to see the score.
Last question. Who wants to take the chance? Yes.
It's directed to all of you, maybe. I wonder if your own roasts, how much more different they were compared to the coffee table today. Like, did your own different roasts of the Maracatura you made, like how much more variability you get compared to today's competition coffee?
Sorry, I didn't get the question.
So the question is if compared to what they cupped at the roastery and what they found here.
Like, this Maracatura maybe like a more consistent coffee? Did you see a lot of variability in your own roasts, or?
I understand now. Yeah, I mean, actually, when we cupped, we only had 3, but the scoring was very close between. It was just a preference thing based on very small elements, finishes, and things like that. There was a lot of consistency we found in the green coffee in that sense, for sure.